Hello guys, and welcome back to another For Honor Heroes build video with me, Daniel Does It. Today we are working on the Jomungandr, and the mode we're focused around is Breach Attack. So it's a good thing that we have the Breach Attack out, right guys? Because guess what is out? The event for Jomungandr, the Wrath of Jomungandr. So I only have the attack breach build for you today, but I am slowly getting that defense and dominion ready. I promise you guys that, but let's go ahead and get started with our Breach Attack Jomungandr build. Now, the perks that I end up going with was Aegis, Shields Up, and Vengeful Barrier. Now I'm going to explain why I didn't choose Bastion, Last Stand, and Fresh Focus Bulk Up. Bastion, because yes, there are zones on the map, but you're not going to be sitting at a zone. Most of the time, I always find players, even myself, backing up other players when it comes to Breach, especially in attack because you're trying to keep your respawns high. Now, Vengeful Barrier, Shields Up. Aegis doesn't give you no damage resistance, but we are going to go on to the feats where you do have a feat that makes you stronger as you lose life. You get more damage resistance basically. So all this Shields Up bonus is just giving you an extra health bar on top of your regular health. And keep in mind, whatever health you are at determines how much damage resistance you have. So if you have a shield over your health, that shield is going to benefit from your damage reduction. Now, Last Stand, only when you're in critical health do you get a 40% damage resistance. Now this is only when you're in the last bar, when your health bar is flashing white or blinking red. So you're not always going to have it, and most of the time you're not trying to be in critical health, right? You guys are trying to stay alive long, you're going to have shields. So your feat with your shields is going to be more resistance for you than just only relying on critical health Last Stand. It's a nice perk, don't get me wrong. But the way that we have this set up is going to work more beneficial for you than having Last Stand. Fresh Focus, it makes you regenerate 20% stamina whenever you block, counter guard break, or do parries. It's pretty nice, especially if you don't want to get hammered on by an opponent or your butt kicked by a cutscene from the Centurion, but we're not really worried about that. We're worried about staying alive and staying in the fight and withstanding as much damage as we can possible. Bulk Up, now this gives you 4 health per renown level, and your renown level is whenever you gain a feat. So if you have your second feat, which is like a bear trap maybe, then you're renown level 2 for instance, and you'll have a 8 health increase, not 8%, just 8 health. So you also have to have all your renown. Like, yeah, you'll play Breach long enough to get all 4, but it's only going to end up being what, 16%? I mean, it's not percent, it's 16 health, when you're going to get 25 and 15 off the back from Shields Up and Vengeful Barrier, plus a 20% increase to those shields. In my opinion, Bulk Up isn't that great for the attack breach for the Jomungandr. Now the reason why I use Aegis, Shields Up, and Vengeful Barrier is because every time you Aegis is going to give you an increase to the health shields that you gain from these 2 other perks, Shields Up and Vengeful Barrier. So Shields Up, you start the match or whenever you're spawned with 15 health, which is like more health on top of your regular health, which is like Bulk Up off the back without having to gain renown levels. Even if you die, and we have a perk where you come back to life by yourself, auto revive, or you get revived, you're going to gain a 15 health shield. So you can go heal after you get revived and have a whole full health bar plus the 15 health shield. Now, on top of this, which is going to give you more chances to, be defensive and withstand attacks and get into revenge if you are getting ganked most of the time in Breach. Then you have Vengeful Barrier, which is going to give you 25 health shield. On top of that, 20% increase to that shield. So you're going to have about like 34. So, that is going to come out. You're going to have, I forgot what it's called, we're going to get to it, but you have the feat that is going to allow you to gain more damage reduction where you are. So if you got out of revenge, most likely you don't have a full health bar. So you're getting damage reduction on top of that 34 health Vengeful Barrier shield you got. And you're going to have teammates probably backing you up by the time you get there. Hopefully. So this allows you to stay alive longer and stay in the fight, and when you do happen to get laid out, you're going to come back to life with auto revive. So let's go ahead and get over to our feats now. The first feat I chose was Joltin Slav, or I don't know how to say that right, but it's a passive. You gain health whenever you're hitting an enemy hero with Joltin Surge, Fail Wow, or Gift of Grudge, which is like kind of your out of stamina punches, and when you do the one where they're on the floor and you hit them with the hammer. I think this is more beneficial to you when you're in attack because you're going to be using that attack a lot. It's a passive, you don't have to activate it. While you're fighting, you're going to be gaining health and you're not even going to really notice, but you will. You'll notice the amount, but you're not going to be like focused on trying to get that in to get health. You're just going to be fighting, and as you're fighting, gaining health, is awesome. If I'm not wrong, stand me corrected. Body count is cool. You're going to have to mostly focus on minions and staying around them half the time. She does kind of attack slow. My opinion is block the minions' attacks and do your zone attack when you have an opening. But even then, you're going to have to do like about 2 of them to take out the enemies in this mode. So, I don't know. I hate getting caught fighting minions and then having to fight enemies. And then it's a nasty thing sometimes when you have half a health bar, you weren't ready for them to come. Tireless is awesome. You lose stamina at a slower rate. Pretty cool. I see that this feat would probably be beneficial for elimination, etc. But we're focused on staying alive when it comes to attack because all lives matter and you got to keep that respawn count up high. Moving on to the second feat, I use Hamas Favor. And it's a passive. It's another thing that works whenever you do... Well, this one only works when you do the Hammer Slam. Now, you're going to gain a temporary shield after landing Hammer Slam on an enemy. So I'm going to take this back on here. When you do the Hammer Slam, you don't gain health. This is whenever you do the punches, you grab, you punish with the punch. I don't know what one of them are. But basically when you're doing those bash attacks, you're gaining health. This one is when you knock them on the ground and add a stamina, and you hit them with that hammer attack that's 50 damage, you're going to gain a temporary shield. Now, the shield is pretty significant. It's like a bar and a half. Now, we have Aegis, remember, which is increasing our shields by 20%. So that is going to increase your temporary shield as well. So this is what I think is awesome. That's why I put it in here. Because when you're fighting, you have your shields up that went down, you're still fighting, bam, you probably got Vengeful Barrier, bam. I've played with this literally today, and my shields were like almost half a bar of health, like a whole half bar of a full health bar. So it's pretty insane how much this increases. And this is just in the fight. Like, this is besides Vengeful Barrier. And even if you're doing it, like you do your revenge, bam. Then you go and slam somebody, you're gaining your shield. If somebody takes down your shield in revenge, it increases the shield from the revenge. If you come out of revenge and you're fighting somebody, you're going to get a shield, but it's going to be even more increased. So just imagine how long you're staying alive. Like, it's going to be a bitch, excuse my language, to take you down with this kind of setup, in my opinion. Now, I choose that over Centurion's March and Righteous Deflection because, like I explained why, I think that's better than having unlimited stamina for a short period. Sometimes when people see you unlock buffs like this that are feats that apply to your character or to an enemy, they usually run away, hoping that it'll run out. I mean, sometimes if I can do it, I'll do it too, especially if I have less health than you and I'm trying to see that you're fighting. Bam. But this is only temporarily. It's not a passive. The shield thing is way more beneficial to you than Centurion's March would be. Now, Righteous Deflection, it's a nice skill, don't get me wrong. We already have Hard to Kill. So gaining high damage reduction for a short period off of every parry is cool, but be honest, you're probably going to get a parry when you're getting ganked and maybe once or twice out of a regular fight. So yes, it's cool, but we're already having something that's going to give you a shield within your fight on top of your damage reduction that you're going to gain from Hard to Kill. So in my opinion, it doesn't really make too much sense to have too much damage reduction stacked on each other, especially if it takes up the fleet slot. It is nice, but if you can use other beneficial skills or perks or feats to your advantage, I would suggest you do so, and that's why this build is the way it is. Now, moving on to the third feat, I chose Hard to Kill. As I explained how it works with the feats and the perks, this is going to, on top of all the shields you're going to have, and the health you're getting from Chonten Sav or a slave or whatever that thing says, you are gaining damage reduction per amount of life that you lose. So when you're losing health, your damage reduction is increasing. So it's like when you are in critical health, you basically do have Last Stand with Hard to Kill. That's why I don't choose these perks together. Now, Punch Through is nice. It basically allows you to do damage to opponents who are blocking your attack. In my opinion, learn to open up your enemies, learn some combos, try to feint, figure something out. Don't rely on punch through. Don't rely on doing block damage because you're going to get too comfortable on hitting people on their block and they're going to parry or superior light you, or you're really not going to get to understand how to do mix-ups with your character if you're relying on punch through. That's my opinion. It does a shed amount of damage. It's not that impressive also. Hard to Kill is way beneficial to you than punch through would be. Zealot's Bolt. This is a fun skill. I would find myself probably using it in Dominion, etc. But this is breach attack. We're trying to stay alive, not die, trying to get to the commander and win this. So throwing a projectile that deals a low amount of damage that can miss or hit your allies, knocks back and depletes all stamina. You can also deplete your allies' stamina, so keep that in mind. It does a low amount of damage, it's not lie. It does give you the opening to do your little 2 attacks. It gave you health on the shield, but is it really worth more than hard to kill in my opinion? It is not. Moving on to the 4th feat, one of my favorites when I met the Warlord, when he came out, when For Honor came out, was Auto Revive. Now this is awesome, especially for Breach, because if you guys have a spawn count, you're trying to keep that, and you do get knocked out and they leave you or they don't execute you, you are automatically revived by yourself. You don't need someone to come revive you. You are revived. Now this is passive. You don't have to activate it. It'll do it by itself. But once it does have about a minute or 2 cooldown on it. So you won't be able to come back to life by yourself until the cooldown's activated. You'll see it being like shaded out in gray. Once it's highlighted white again, you're able to come back to life again by yourself. Now remember, when you do this, you're going to have shields up with a 20% increase to your shields up. And then if you're doing your attacks, you're fighting somebody, you land a hammer slam, you're getting more shield. Then you go into revenge, you're getting vengeful barrier. You're going to come back. You're going to be a beast. This is The Walking Dead. But in my opinion, that's better than Scout, and it's better than the Twilights of God, because this powerful attack deals some damage and unbalances all nearby enemies. I don't think if it does your allies or not. I think it does. I can't remember. But you're only going to be able to hammer slam one of those enemies. You know, and you're going to get in the way of your allies. I don't know. Auto Revive is better. It doesn't count as a respawn. It counts as you being actually revived, so it won't take a life away when you do auto revive. Scout is awesome. It does show up all enemies. It makes them have less defense, and I believe it's less powerful attack or stamina. One of those two. I hate how they don't give you what the definition of Mark of Death is anymore, but I know for sure it's less defense. This is cool. I can see you using Dominion or Elimination to help your allies when you start an elimination battle to let everybody get the advantage on their enemies, or even in scrimmage. But when it comes to Breach, attack, auto revive is the best way to go. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for taking time to watch. I actually didn't take time to make my character look badass. Usually I do, but I wanted to shoot out this video since I have it done for you guys, since the event is around Breach. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch. I want to shout out to my Patreon, Nani. Thank you for your support, man. It means so much to me. It helps me be able to keep up with content creating, taking time out of my days from studying and work, etc., to actually keep gaming, which is one of my dreams. Thank you guys again, all you guys, for your support. If you guys want to check out some more builds, more videos, more For Honor content, subscribe. Also check out these videos at the end of this clip in the last 20 seconds, and they'll show you some guides or links to Dominion, Breach Defense, and Breach Attack videos. And until next time, guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching.
One, two, three, four.